Alright everyone, welcome to another video of Full Speed Impulse, and today we are doing some mods to our Klx110L, and we got a lot to do. So first things first, this is our Klx110L. If you haven't seen it yet, we do have plenty of mods already done to this bike, but we are looking to go even further now, get more into suspension work, and get this thing dialed in. So over here we picked up some goodies and all that. First time also, gonna give a shout out. The old factory minibikes.com was first time ordering from them and got us a nice BBR swing arm. And then we got ourselves our TB forks here, heavy duty, and they're valved for the springs. So it's a nice little kit here for about 240 bucks. And they're a good replacement for your Klx110L. And they even make replacement forks for your Klx110. And for that price, it's not bad. We also picked ourselves up here a nice lithium battery, guys. And we'll be doing a separate video on this only because to show the difference between this with your standard battery and this in the bike with your big bore kit on your Klx110, which we have struggled with getting this thing cranked over with the cam and all that installed. It seems like it needs more battery, and we're hoping that this is the answer. All right, and over here we got ourselves a brand new Fender to finally replace our hydro dipping that just didn't go as good as we thought it would, and it has worn off now. And then over here we got ourselves a brand new rear shock, just because it's got valving in it now, guys. We got some rebound adjustment and stuff like that, so that's going to be good and give us a little bit more adjustability on your swing arm and our suspension, and hopefully it's going to be the answer. We didn't want to go spend no $500 and all that. We are a big trail rider. We do not do huge jumps, so this should be just enough for us. And this is the 250-pound spring. And then obviously, because we're doing an extended swing arm, we need a longer chain. So we had to buy a new chain, and we're going to get this thing dialed in. All right, but obviously you already know by clicking on the link, you know what you're watching today. And that's going to be us installing these TB forks and all that and seeing what the difference is. They say that it bumps you up a plus 10 millimeters off your stock Klx110L forks. And they already have heavy springs in them. And they say that they're valved for those heavy springs to help reduce some of that springy action that you get with just sliding heavy springs in your stock forks. And you already know the deal if you watch any of our other videos and all that. We do already have BBR springs in these forks and all that. And that's okay because these forks and rear spring is going to get used, and it's going to go to our other bike over here. If you've been watching some of our videos here, we had our Klx110 budget build, and this bike has came out pretty awesome, guys. It's an 07 and all that, so make sure you check out some of the videos of what old Smokey here has become into the loaner. So that being said, let's get into the goods now, and let's get these forks installed. Just to give you guys a closer look up, we went with the black ones here. They're looking super duper good, guys. I mean, we messed ours up anyways, hydro dipping, and we're ready to get rid of those. We'll end up having to sand that off and repaint those before we put them on the other bike. All right, but there should be nothing to it. Let's get these things installed and all that and see what the difference is in height. All right, so we're gonna get at this, and you guys already know the deal. We gotta undo all these bolts here, loosen those up so the forks will slide down. But we gotta take our front wheel off and all that and set that to the side. And don't get me wrong, guys, doing the swing arm and these front forks, I wanted to really break this bike all the way down to the frame and really get some powder coating done and all that, just get the bike dialed in. But riding season is upon us, and I'd rather just have the performance side of this bike done and get ready to rip. And then next winter, we will be breaking this bike down to the frame and giving her the attention that she really desperately wants. So nor was it necessary for you to take your fender off, but we had to take ours off because we need to put this fresh one on here. But since we're at it and we're talking about it, if you have a BBR U-Flow, this was a UFO front fender, and we just had issues with our front fender, that being UFO, fitting with our custom air intake. This one here also did not fit with our BBR U-Flow air intake, that the front fender on the back side here was rubbing super duper hard on that. So what we did was we took our heat gun, and you can do it with the fender on, so you got easy leverage, just heat from the inside, and make sure you get these creases here, and you're gonna fold this in, and then you're gonna kind of hold it, let it cool down a little bit. But when you're doing that, you can zip your front fender off, and now that's the best she's ever cleared. Like, she's always rubbed. You can see here, I mean, she got rubbed raw pretty, I mean, that's pretty good. So now we're dialed, which that's good. So, all right, so back on to the forks here. We want to make sure that you have this all aligned. We're gonna get torque specs for you here in 1 second. And then how we checked, we just took our bolt here, slide it through, see how there was no fuss. It just, I mean, it went right in there. If your forks were uneven set up there, then this would not slide as easily going through. So that's that. We're good to go. Now we can start bolting stuff on, and she is starting to look pretty good. Now, I did mock these things up, and they did not look that much bigger. If not, that's just the same size as our 110L forks already, but that's okay because those forks will get used and they will go to our pit bike over there. So let's see what's gonna happen. We'll get these things set in and all that, and we will test how stiff it is compared to our last ones, and all that good stuff. So let's get at her. All right, so torque specs for the top here, guys. We're trying to get this done. Is 15 foot-pounds or 180 inch-pounds. Now, we've already snugged these up here, which I would recommend doing. Just don't tighten one side all the way down. Make sure you kind of snug them up, and then you come in here and finish up with your torque specs. So we're gonna do the top first. All right, there's our torque specs for the top. Our bottom is 22 foot-pounds or 264 inch-pounds. So we gotta crank this sucker up. I think it only goes up to maybe 250. We'll see. These obviously need a little bit more cranking, so I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit here. I'm just gonna go just a smudge past. All right, that is tight. We'll check our work down here. We'll slide our bolt through. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And we did take a little steel wool, cleaned up our brake pads a little bit, cleaned up in here. We had some rust going on from just shenanigans. One thing I'm kind of worried about is how this black is and how easily it's probably going to get chipped up. For sure, especially the type of riding we do. Boy, that just not fit like a glove though, I tell you. Like, too easy. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We don't normally do torque specs on this axle nut here, but I figure, you know what, you guys are watching. Might as well tell you, 33 foot-pounds of torque on this little guy here. Usually we just go old German specs on this guy, and guten tight is the way we like it. I'm going to double check it by hand, just to make sure we got what we like. Oh yeah. Whew, that's probably tighter than I normally do. Wheel spins, we still clear with our big old Midas tire. Not by much though. Look at that. She's close. Woo! Man, they don't get any closer than that. The whiskers are hitting that thing. But it does fit. So let's do our measurements now, guys, and see if it is any lower, but I do not think so. It was 3 inches last time on the dot. And we are, well, shucks, guys. It is a little bit lower. But boy, oh boy, does she look good, guys. I mean, it looks good just because we got our crummy hydro dipping little shenanigans project off, but she is looking pretty darn good. So now, I mean, it's an improvement too for us. Like, we're not rubbing on that air intake. Like, you've seen the grooves we're putting in. Like, it was ridiculous. All right, and if you guys didn't notice, we put a strap around here just because when you take your front forks off, you got all this weight, it's gonna wanna swivel back and all that. So that's why you put that strap on there. As you can see, I'm a pretty big guy, so making sure that this spring is stiff enough is important. It does seem to have a little bit more plushness to it, but it actually feels really good. I feel like it's gonna work out pretty good for us. All right, but if you want to know anything more about this bike or about any of our other bikes, hit us up in our comments, watch some of our videos on all that. We got everything posted that we do on our pit bikes, and even our pit bike trips that we go down to Kentucky, we do Michigan, we do 41 miles, we do all these crazy little trips, guys, on these pit bikes, ripping them up, just having a good time. All right, but that's it for today's video, guys. Make sure you stay tuned for that BBR swing arm install, seeing how that thing's gonna fit up with our new shock and all that. Plus, we'll see if that battery has enough cold cranking amps to turn over that big bore with that cam in there with no decompression lever. So until next time, we'll see you later.